Both of these models have a sense of design in his price range. There is playability. It's very cost-effective. Playing EDC every day is like eating and sucking DFA. Hello everyone, I'm Brother Shi. Today I would like to introduce to you two models that are not expensive. But the EDC Xiaojia with a very sense of design is an operator from Shoe Thief. One is the XM1 from RDTS. Let's talk about the price first. This Shuzi operator is priced in the early 200s. The XM1 of this RDTS is about 350 yuan. So why do I say that these two small folds are very designed? Let's take a look. Let's first take a look at the knife of the operator of this book, the operator of Xiaojia. It was designed by a Ukrainian designer. 1. We can see that the blade of this knife adopts an innovative design. It's not a traditional kicker, it's not a traditional thin. It's not a water dripper, it's a very creative one. Such a blade type is made up of a large number of such broken lines. He did such a cutting pattern in front of him. But he is not the same as traditional head shaving. This knife is very sharp in front. It gives people a very spiritual feeling. The second point is that we see that the shape of this fist knife is the highest in the middle. A large number of straight lines and broken lines are low on both sides to form the lines of the entire knife. The geometry of the whole knife is very strong. And then, in the state of closing the knife, we can also see that its knife pillow is also one. This is a very sharp, diagonal shape. The entire knife is also completely inherited from it. This sense of zero force and geometric lines in the state. Let's take a look at this XME again. The XM1 knife is also very designed. The first is its cutter head. As for its blade head, we look at it from a distance, it is a thin one-end shape. But it made this kind of cutting fiber in the front. It has another curved shape in the blade part. The whole thing is also a fusion type of blade. What about the hilt of his knife? He borrowed this from the advancer. The shapes are all large edges of this kind of sudden angle. Although the overall handle of the knife is somewhat borrowed from this advancer, but his blade and handle are very integrated. Let's take a look at the unity of this knife handle and blade. Let's talk about it. First of all, the back of this blade and his handle. Excessive naturalness without any abrupt blade. As I just said, he made a recurve and a knife handle. This reflex forms an echo. Speaking of this sense of design, let's take a look at the playability of the two knives. Or look at Shu Zizi's knife first. This knife is a double open mode. This push-down hole, we can open it with our forehand. We can also open this one with our backhand. Flipper, we can click on it. Yes, there is no problem with this kind of forceful opening. Very smooth, and then the power feedback is slightly weaker. This is possible. The overall weight of the knife is relatively light. The thinner lock plate has something to do with it. Then look at this XX fan. This knife has a very strong sense of opening and closing feedback. And the most interesting thing about this knife is that he used a counterlining lock for novices. Friends, let's talk about it, you can see it. This knife is a lining lock tab. Hold up the knife when opening. We can close the knife by pushing this lock plate. This knife is also a lining lock, but we can't see the lock here. It was locked on the back, and our hands couldn't reach in to close the knife. It is achieved by pressing this button to push the locking disc. What is the difference between the anti-lining lock of the knife and this lining lock? First of all, its feedback sense of operation has. This kind of lining lock is inherently strong. Then it can also realize this shaft lock pull lock opening mode. That is, we press and hold lock. As soon as the knife was shaken, the knife was turned off. He is smoother when closing the knife, but what about this anti-lock? If we dismantle the knife ourselves, we may maintain it. It will be relatively troublesome. Next, let's take a look at the workmanship of these two knives. Let's look at the operator Shuzi first. Both knives are 1428 blades. The operator who lost the money used PI's cake. It is a hollow backbone design. A small bottom bone and a hidden scattering hole were made. I used a clip, although this clip is very useful, but the overall knife seems to be cheaper. But I think this price is here, and there is no problem with this clip. The whole knife is the structure of a sandwich. The whole lining is treated with steel plating. Then the screws of the spindle are made with this laser engraving. I think the overall workmanship is perfect. It is worthy of its price in the early 200s. Then we see that this XM1 is also a 1428 cutter head. Then make a G10 cake. He didn't make the loose rope hole that the laser engraving of this spindle wore through. I don't think this is that good, because this will be ugly after falling. There is a full-length spine. This spine is made of titanium alloy, and I think it's oita on this knife. It is this back clamp that makes a CNC back clamp, and it is a titanium alloy back clip, and the overall sense of luxury comes up at once. Just because it has a back clip and a titanium alloy backbone, I think the price of more than 300 is a reasonable price. Then the lining of this knife is also made of a more advanced configuration. It is this kind of inline lining. The lining and the spine are connected separately, and then the two patches are covered with the lining. You can't see the lining from above and below. This large amount of lining is also made inside to reduce weight. Okay, let's summarize these two knives at a price of 200. One is priced at 300. I think both knives have a sense of design in his price range. There is playability. A good knife with a good value for money. It depends on your budget and liking level. I think buying this kind of small fold has a sense of design. Which look do you prefer? If the price is acceptable, you can open and close the two knives without any problems. Okay, that's all we have for today. Playing EDC every day. It's like eating 7 miles to fly. What else do you want to see? You can leave me a message in the comment area. I'm Brother Shi, see you next time. It's time for Dalong to play EDC.